Well, good morning and welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. Jesus gave us the command to go make disciples by teaching them to obey all the things I've commanded you. And so these Jesus said are sound bites of the commands of Jesus just to help us do what he said. You can find a different command of Jesus at our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church and some other resources there to just help us read the Bible together and actually obey what Jesus said. Today's soundbite, Jesus said, invite the needy to dinner. And this comes from Luke 12 through 14. But we want to start today in verse 1 of Luke 14, just to kind of set the tone of what was happening here. One Sabbath day, Jesus went to eat dinner in the home of a leader of the Pharisees, and the people were watching him closely. This was a very important gathering. Every week, people would have, they would say Shabbat Shalom, because Sabbath was a time of peace. It was a time of gathering, and there was a lot of ritual, a lot of preparation. If you're watching the series The Chosen, you see examples of how the Sabbath dinner was a big deal, and it was a time when you invited the most important people to be with you. And in verse 7 of Luke 14, everyone was trying to get the good seats at this dinner, the seats of honor. And Jesus responded to that with this teaching. And so we're going to read from Luke 14, 12 through 14, where then he turned to his hosts and said, when you put on a luncheon or a banquet, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors, for they will invite you back, and that will be your only reward. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Then at the resurrection of the righteous, God will reward you for inviting those who could not repay you. When you put on a luncheon or banquet, and understand that in context, this was a weekly worship experience. It was kind of like a private party, and you were honored to be invited. But Jesus said, don't have private parties just for insiders. Invite the needy, those who don't fit in, those who can't pay you back for your generosity. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. That's where the heavenly reward is. Private parties make us feel good, but that's it. That's the only reward that we ever get. That's temporary. But when we invite the needy to dinner, the rewards are eternal. Now, often we treat this command kind of like it's optional. But Jesus didn't say every once in a while when you put on an event. He said when. One of our core values at Today Church is we are all about people. Everything is an outreach. Everyone has a place. And we've done some things. Yeah, we've done some community meals. We've given to homeless ministries, to missionaries around the world. But this command isn't about special events or specific ministry endeavors. It's about a lifestyle of hospitality, welcoming guests. We talk about a guest mentality rather than a visitor mentality. That means we prepare for guests. Visitors just show up. Are we ready for guests? Are we prepared for them? Are we inviting and expecting them? If someone important was going to be a dinner guest in our home, we would clean things up, put out the good dishes and the brand, or maybe, the brand name paper plates. We would do our best to make a good impression. Jesus said, when we do good for the needy, we are actually doing it unto Jesus. That means that Jesus could show up at any of our events. He might be represented by somebody poor, by someone crippled, lame, or blind. That's Jesus. That's what he said. He said, if you've done it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me. Guests should be the VIPs. And I'm challenged by reading this. Who am I inviting? Who am I expecting? Who am I welcoming to my private little parties? Sometimes I think that we as the church, especially in America, we have the focus different. Jesus said, invite the needy to dinner. And we build buildings and do things for us. But who can we invite and who can we give the best seats at the table to today? Jesus said, invite the needy to dinner. How can we put that into action today?